Hi, I'm Owen Casey Stevens, and this is the story of how I was surprised by a significant gunfire in LA. This story takes place in 1988. It was just after I got out of high school, and my girlfriend at the time, LJ, who later became my wife, and I decided to go visit friends of ours who were living in LA. Lori Jane, LJ, also had family that was gathering there for Christmas, so we did this over the Christmas season. And the idea is that we would sit around with our friends for quite a bit of time, do a lot of tabletop role-playing with them. We built a giant wall of empty aluminum cans of soda that we drank over the weeks that we were there. LJ went to go spend time with her family right at Christmas, surprising her mother, who didn't know that she was going to be out there, and then came back to spend time with us for another couple weeks before we went home. And sometime after she had done her Christmas trip, we were all sitting around playing one of our tabletop role-playing games. I'm reasonably sure it was a World War II Champions game, for anyone who cares. And we heard the distinct sound of gunfire outside. Now, for people that haven't heard gunfire in your neighborhood, it doesn't, generally speaking, sound like it does in the movies. In this case, it started by sounding like someone was slamming a door really loudly, rapidly right next to us. Slam, 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 slam. And then in the distance, we heard popping noises, which are sort of like firecrackers, which are also indicative of gunfire. And it was pop, 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 and a little pause. Then pop, 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 pop. And we were a little terrified, to be honest. This is the era where people were expecting LA to devolve into Demolition Man or Running Man or Blade Runner any time now. So we were really concerned about why there was immediately waves of gunfire from different weapons at different ranges outside. And so my wife immediately, well, LJ, who's not yet my wife, I think of her as my wife still, immediately got on the phone and called 911, while the other friends and I went and peeked out the window and peeked out the door because we didn't want to go running out into gunfire. But if, for example, this was the zombie apocalypse, our reaction needed to be different than if it was just a gang war. If there was someone bleeding on the road right outside of our apartment, we wanted to be able to convey that information, or if it was safe, go try and render aid. And my wife gets a hold of the police, and she puts it on speakerphone. This was in the age where everything was a corded phone and we had speakerphones. And she told them that we heard gunfire outside. And the police responded, "Yes, ma'am, that happens." And we were all a little flabbergasted. My wife tried to explain that there are many different weapons. They appear to be semi-automatic weapons, maybe some automatic weapons. There are pauses between when they're being reloaded. "Yes, ma'am," the police officer said. "Just stay indoors. It'll be over soon." And we were just shocked. Why on earth were we being told, don't worry about the oncoming apocalypse and the gunfire and the Red Dawn scenario of invasion from Russia? It'll be over soon. And we hung up. And a few seconds later, it was over. All the gunfire was done. And as we're sitting in a circle, kind of shocked, one of my friends said, "Hey, it's midnight. Is it New Year's Eve?" And we realized that it was, in fact, New Year's Eve, and while we were hearing gunfire of people in their backyards celebrating New Year's by ripping off a few rounds into the air. Still not brilliant, still pretty dangerous, but at least we understood why the police action was just, yeah, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. And it was not, in fact, ants from the desert invading the edge of the city, which might have been more fun, but not in reality. So that was our holiday New Year's experience in LA. It was a bonding experience, and we all had a good laugh about it and went back to playing tabletop role-playing games. I appreciate you being here for the story and following it all the way to the end. If you care about tabletop role-playing games and my desire to tell stories, I've currently got a big project coming up called 52 and 52, which is 52 projects offered once a week, every week throughout 2020. And all of the game products will be available for Pathfinder 1st and 2nd Edition and Starfinder and 5e. So I'll put a link in the description of the video below, and you can go check that out if you're interested. Thank you very much. Bye, folks.